5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is so nice
Good
to
afternoon.
see you here in the SHARDOS session 9. And thank you for joining this program. The topic for today is about linguistic talks. As we know that there are so many subfields of linguistics such as phonology, morphology, semantics, syntax, and etc. And as the teacher training program, you don't really learn it intensively. And by this SHARDOS, it is hoped that this SHARDOS will give you enlightenment about the linguistic field, and then as an alternative in conducting your research. So it means that your research is not only about experimental research, but you can take your research about the linguistic field. Okay, and for today we have two incredible speakers here. The first speaker is Miss Fitrah Aulia Ansar M. Hum, and the second speaker is Mr. Satria Adi Perdana MPD. Okay, and then they are both discussing about linguistic. Mr. Satria will discuss about linguistic, applied linguistic, ya, Mr.
Yeah, educational linguistic.
And then Miss Aulia will discuss about linguistic murni, ya.
Yeah.
Okay. This is your opportunity to ask all of the questions related to linguistic and research, especially in linguistic, because we have a speaker who master about the linguistic field. Okay, so feel free to ask the question in the chat box related to your research or related to the linguistic. Okay, for the first speaker, I give chance to Miss Aulia to give or to deliver your material. Okay, the time is yours, Miss Aulia.
Thank you very much, Miss Emma, for giving me the time. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
It's nice to see you here. So today I'm going to talk about linguistics and then maybe some opportunities in conducting linguistics research. So let me begin by give you some definitions of linguistics. Wait a minute. Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay. Your masker.
Okay. Mask. So I'm going to talk about three basic knowledge of linguistics. First is what is language, and then what is linguistics, and then what is linguist. First, we have to know the basic things from linguistics is language. So language is an expression of ideas by means combined into words. So it means that words that has meaning, it can conclude it as a language. So how about gestures? Gestures can be concluded as language or not. So in communication, there are two kinds of communications. First is non-verbal, and then the second verbal language. So language is a pattern of verbal language. Then the second one, we talk about linguistics. So what is actually linguistics? That this is the important thing that you have to understand. So linguistics is the scientific study of human language. So what does it mean? Linguistics means that the knowledge or the study which covers about the explorations of language of human, yeah, or talking about describing language itself. And then what is linguist? Linguist is someone who engaged in studying linguistics. So if you are interested in doing some research on linguistics, means that you are a linguist. Okay, next we talk about the discipline within linguistics. So there are important kinds or branches of linguistics. Sometimes we called it as we called it as micro linguistics, micro linguistics. Yeah, within linguistics there are phonetics, phonetics and phonology are related to each other, and then morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. Phonetics talking about speech sounds, speech production, and then phonology, how the language, how the sounds productions means, and then morphology talking about the structure of words. Yeah, I think all of you know about that, and then some of you maybe conducts researchers about morphology, about morpheme, suffix, affix, prefix, and then syntax talking about the study of word combinations in the sentence. So we talk about the grammar, structure in conducting a sentence or utterances. And then semantics talking about meaning, yeah, study of meaning. And then the last one is pragmatics. Pragmatics talking about language used in context. So we don't talk about only the meaning itself, but we talk about the language surrounding of the language, or it can be concluded that we need to look at the functions or the situations of the language used. Next, we talk about the external branches of linguistics, or sometimes we call it as macro linguistics, yeah, external branches of linguistics. There are many parts here. First is psycholinguistics. So this is talking about the language use and human brain. So the relation about the linguistics and also the human brain. Sometimes we got confused how to analyze the analysis of sociolinguistics or psycholinguistics. Again, the core of linguistics is the micro branches of linguistics, this one. So we use those components to analyze the linguistics components itself, even though we are in specific areas like psycholinguistics, sociolinguistics. We still use pragmatics, we still use semantics to find the answers of this research. Sociolinguistics talking about language used in society, so we need to see the relation between language as a component of the data, and then society as the users, and then the functions. So this one is sociolinguistics. And applied linguistics, yeah, will be explained further with Mr. Satria, but talking about applied linguistics, talking about language that you used in several purposes, yeah, in every activities, yeah, how to implement the language. This is covered in applied linguistics. And then computational linguistics. This is most interesting linguistics, that branches of linguistics that many native speakers actually are interested in talking about computational linguistics, or we also called it as corpus linguistics. Yeah, so we talk about language and also in relation with electronics. So we do computational things regarding to the language. So we collect the language and then we analyze the language used to see the language change or relations among them. Then anthropological linguistics, it's quite close with sociolinguistics because it's talk about language use and its environments. The difference in anthropology. Talking about anthropology, we talk about the culture or the habit or the activities of language. So not only talking about the users of the language, but we talk about the norms of the language used. So we call it as anthropological linguistics. Unfortunately, anthropological linguistics, it's not, maybe it's not available for you. Why? Because we talk about talk about society, we talk about cultures, we need to get in. I mean, we need to understand, comprehend about the culture itself. So if we want to talk about anthropolinguistics, like language used in American English or British tribes, we cannot explore it because we don't know exactly about that. Although we have some data by doing some reading, but it's quite difficult to know the real culture in that language use. So maybe it's quite difficult for happened by the native of the language. Like me myself, I'm doing a research right now, anthropological linguistics. Like I'm analyzing like that, yeah, or mythology like that. And then next, philosophical linguistics. It is also related to anthropological, but this is the core is philosophy. Philosophy means that I don't get in with this philosophical linguistics, but this is talking about historical linguistics. So it is related to philology, yeah. And then the last is stylistics. Stylistics also is part of linguistics. So we talk about the language used. Some of you actually in English department talk about stylistics in their research, if I'm not mistaken. But again, maybe you don't comprehend well about this. That's why I need you to understand about this stylistics and which method, which branch of language do you want to refer. Like if you want to talk about stylistics, it's quite larger. If you want to talk about the idiolects, so we maybe talk about pronunciation, we talk about phonology, but stylistic, like language use, like the words used, maybe you can use pragmatics approach and semantics. So it depends on the content of your research again. Next, how to conduct linguistic research. Yeah, this may help you to know how to organize linguistics project. I do hope so. Yeah. So I don't know exactly. I cannot push you to follow my rules here, but we have our own actually rules in conducting the research. But this is the core. If you want to conduct linguistics research, maybe you can modify it later. But this is the important thing that you have to understand in conducting linguistic research. First is introduction. Sometimes we call it as a context. So what do you want to explore? Yeah. And then literature review, yeah, method, findings, discussion, conclusion, references, and appendix. Okay, first, process to find your research title, yeah. First, reading the linguistics literatures, or reading as much as possible that you are interested in. And then the second one, be sensitive with current phenomena or issues. Like today's we are in COVID era, yeah. So maybe we can conduct some research regarding to that title. And then the third is be specific. As your information, today, nowadays, we have a challenge that we cannot conduct research, field research. It's quite difficult to conduct field research. So maybe it would be better to find research like in library research form. Yeah, why? Because you just record the data and then you analyze it. But again, we have to explore it deeply. Yeah. Next, let's review some concepts. First, introduction, summary of your research interest. Yeah. And then the second one, why your research is worth it. And then literature review, summary of the literatures which are related to your research questions. So you have to see that if you want to talk about speech acts, like one from some cases of my my students, yeah, she wants to conduct research, speech acts research, but she conduct a literary review in different theory. She talk about politeness. It is not, maybe it can be related actually, but there is no link each other. So please be careful. You have to imagine that which one do you want to talk, which one do you want to explore, then you put it in your literature review. Again, talking about linguistics, there is a base or the core of language theory. Again, in references, it would be better if we put 10 latest theory, yeah? But again, if we talk about the core or the important, the prior theory, it's okay if we put the first, the latest, the oldest, yeah. And then again, you put some theories to put to discover that that concept. And then the third one is methodology, data collection, ethical issues, method of analysis. In linguistics, again, most of linguistics research, pure linguistics, yeah, we talk about data collections like pure just actually, this is a change. This is a chance for you to put some data from the internet, yeah, and then you don't have to go to in one place to take the data. You just open your YouTube and then you take the data. It's okay. And then there is ethical issues. What does it mean in ethical issues? If you conduct like interview for your interview, or maybe questionnaire for as a supporting data, yeah, you need to have permission, yeah, and also there is some rules in gathering the data. And then methods of analysis, yeah, method of analysis, like if you talk about a speech act, what the results of your analysis. And then the last one is discussion. Discussion means that the findings that you have got, the research from the research questions, yeah, you explore or you describe it, or you compare with the current issues or the current or the latest results from other sources. And then references. Every theory or source that you have mentioned or used in your research. So even though probably you don't put it in your so even though you don't mention the question, the quotations, yeah, but you use the, maybe you use it as your inspiration, you have to put it also in your reference. And appendix, your data transcription if you report, yeah, and any supporting data you need in your research. Okay, next, applied linguistics fields in education. Like there are two important branches. First is language acquisition, and then the second one is teaching learning language. So teaching learning language also can be described into many things, like talking about the methodology, the process, the process, and also syllabus, also talking about applied linguistics. But I'm not the expert of applied linguistics, so I will deliver it to Mr. Satria later. Okay, types of linguistics research: synchronic linguistics and diachronic linguistics. Synchronic linguistics, descriptive linguistics, and then it can be defined as the study of language at a particular time period. Diachronic linguistics or historical linguistics, it can be defined as the study language and language change through time. So synchronic linguistics, we focus on the language used as its functions rather than this diachronic linguistics. We want to see the change or the variations from the oldest to the current and maybe future, yeah, future change. Now, in applied linguistics, so we talk about the relation among education, yeah, in education, yeah, among education, context, and language. Okay, next, these are some of the examples of applied linguistics. Explores how children acquire second language, maybe, yeah, and then examines the structures of language and its role communication, studies of skills that speakers of second language and EFL develop. Moreover, it's quite difficult for us to explore about this because it's very we need to make an observation. Then we have a challenge in during this pandemic that we cannot face others directly, yeah. So you have to consider this challenge in your research later. Next, this is actually Miss Isti asked to me that please talk about Deixis because some of you talk about Deixis as their research title. Okay, so talking about Deixis, talking about reference or talking about pointing out. So this is in the scope of pragmatics. Yeah, so Deixis actually in under pragmatics umbrella. Yeah. Okay, so we talk about Deixis means that we talk about indexical or references. So it's quite difficult. It's not like the real meaning, but there is intended meaning related to the indexical word. Yeah. Okay, so there are two definitions of deictic itself. First, from Levinson, a deictic or indexical is referential words that its interpretation depends on the context. Again, talking about context is talking about pragmatics. Next, the deictic is in a language commit a speaker to set up a frame of reference around herself. Jadi it is actually pointed out something, yeah. Next, approaches. There is a philosophical approach. We can use a philosophical approach, means that we explore it based on the cultures, based on the historical of the language, rather than the second one is descriptive approach. We talk about the language and its surrounded, yeah, its surrounding. So have a look at this. There are types of Deixis. First is person Deixis. It is similar like we talk about personal pronoun. However, there is a difference with the functions of the language. If it's referred to something, means that it is a Deixis. If it's not, there is no intended meaning of the words, means that it is, we cannot call it as a Deixis. And then time Deixis, or we also call it as a temporal Deixis. Am I too fastest? Am I too faster? No?
Oh,
okay.
No, Miss.
Okay. Temporal Deixis here means that there are some words, temporal time words that reverse to some expressions. It is also in place Deixis, which is, or always we call it as special. So like the words here, there, left, right, it refers to what? Yeah. Now we need to how to actually analyze about this. We need to see the previous utterances and then the other utterances that surrounding it with these words. So we have to see the component and also the context and its functions. So it is related to pragmatics. Discourse Deixis. Discourse means wacana, yeah. So like for example, we talk about IERA, concepts of extensive reading. So we can actually elaborate about the discourse Deixis of extensive reading by the speakers. So you can see the referentials of referentials meanings of the speakers' opinions of extensive readings, like that. And then social Deixis, it is related to related to the society. So we have to see the participants of the language and the relationship between the addressee or the speaker and the hearer. This is the social Deixis. Nyambung nggak atau tidak? Yeah, next, a common linguistics project at PBI project at PBI UIN Raden Intan Lampung. First is cut mixing and cut switching. Ini banyak banget yang ambil, ya. So I don't want to say that please don't talk about this, but it's too monotone if you are talking about cut mixing and cut switching again. And then the theory of cut mixing and cut switching also similar. So there is no exploration or elaborations more about linguistics itself. You just talk about the types, the kinds, and then the functions of code switching. So it is not, I say that it's enough. So if you want to take another title, it would be better, yeah, because you can see here, ya, banyak banget di email saya ini tentang linguistics, tentang code mixing and code switching. And actually, some of you actually cannot understand about those items, don't understand well about those items. Why I say so? Like when you say code mixing, sometimes you elaborate about code switching. When you say code switching, sometimes you elaborate about code mixing. Actually, both of them, there are two linguists. There are several linguists talk about this, but there are two kinds of ideology about code mixing and code switching. One of them talk that code mixing is different with code switching, because when you are doing code mixing, that you are doing switching. But some of them, yeah, say that code switching and code mixing is different things. Code mixing is the mixings of language naturally. Rather than code switching, there is a purpose of switching the language. So, having said that, I think I don't say that it is wrong if you say that this is similar or this is different. I want to I suggest to you, please be careful which linguist that you want to follow, which theory that you want to explore. Yeah, so it doesn't mean that if you take this ideology, you are wrong. No, but you have to be consistent. Again, yeah. Next, talking about the other project in PBI, one of you or some of you talk about slang words. Actually, it is very good to talk about slang. Again, slang, it's a part of sociolinguistics, and it is a part of language community. Means that if you talk about slang, you have to understand well about the language change, because we know exactly that there is no absolute of language, and then it will be changed over the time. So how deep you understand about the slang, because it is related to the community. Maybe you say that this one is not the slang, but in that place it is a slang, but you just conquer that this one is a slang. So you have to have a deep analysis related to this. Yeah, so be careful talking about slang. And again, maybe you can take another research regarding to linguistics rather than slang words. Okay, so now I'm going to propose some titles. Maybe some of you from 42, maybe 42, yeah, 42 participants here, you are interested in taking linguistics research. So I will give you some titles regarding to this. Yeah, maybe this is an offer, but if you want to follow, I will be available to be your coach. Yeah, not really. Research title opportunities. These titles may help you to find your research interest. First, yeah, some titles, maybe this is my offer for you. Yeah, discourse analysis of the speakers of, maybe you put era speakers, discourse analysis. So how they develop the idea, how they talk about extensive reading. So we talk about this. One of them talking about bullying as the part of extensive reading, and then one of them talking about research about the opportunities, and then one of them talking about this. This is talking about wacana, discourse of analysis. Or maybe you want to put another webinar series. It's okay. Yeah. Again, talking about language is talking about large studies. Yeah. And then another one is jargon used by speaker of era. Some of them talking, some of them maybe use jargon. We can discuss about that. It is under pragmatics, sociolinguistics again. Figurative speech. We can see, if I'm not mistaken, I found 2 figurative speech from the speakers of Egghead at that time in extensive reading. Maybe you can we can talk about that. Or maybe you also can explore about the figurative speech used by the actors of film in demonstrating their film, like but English film, yeah, like if I'm not mistaken, Disney right now promotes current film apa ya, Mulan, yes, Mulan, yeah. How the directors, how the actress promotes it. You can take the figurative speech, yeah. Again, this is also contributing in language development, yeah. And then politeness in webinar. How the moderator deliver the change to the speaker, how the host give a chance to the moderator, how the speakers the speakers answers the lecturers, the audience questions. It is also a good title. Mispronouncing vowel, consonants, words of Indonesian speakers in English webinar also could be a good title. Mispronouncing, you can put it again. You can take from other webinar. You can just download it, and then you make some research. You use your phonetics transcription, IPA, and then you see the correlation with phonology, and you describe it. Done. Code switching in SHARDOS could be also in SHARDOS from series 1 to series 10. Most of the speakers use mixing language L1 and L2 could be also a good title. But again, in conducting research, we have an ethical issues. Means that if you do library research, actually we don't have to take any permission from the source of data. But again, because you are from English department, maybe there is an uncomfortable issues regarding to if you conduct the research like this. If you conduct research with the subject of our education department people, so maybe it would be better if you find another webinar. This is just also an example. Ini saya kayak bunuh diri sendiri ya. This is only an example, but it would be better if you put the other one. Why? Because it is also talking about emotional relation. Maybe if you put it, it is very good to explore about this, but maybe for somehow for the speakers of the data, yeah, or the source of the data, maybe will felt insecure of that. So please be careful with that. And then another one is Indonesian dialect in teaching English subject. You can also many podcasts of Indonesian speaker, but doing English podcast. You can take the data, you can download it, and then analysis the dialect. What theory do you use? You use two components. You use phonology, and also you use sociolinguistics under the research. Okay. Next, a pragmatic analysis of complement used by listeners of TED Talk on YouTube. TED Talk or others, yeah. For example, like complement, like there is a speaker talking about something. I choose TED Talk here because too many audience of TED Talk, and then you can see many comments below the chat box of YouTube there. Some of them give a compliment for or a praise of or award for the speaker. So you can analyze the language use, like how they direct the language to analyze the direct the language to give a compliment to the speakers. Again, you use pragmatics analysis here. Some titles like implicature. Implicature is also under pragmatics. Yeah, applicature analysis, dialogism. This is talking about sociolinguistics.
Miss
And also,
Aulia,
yeah,
you have 1 minute.
oh, okay. And then another one is translation, semantical analysis of flyer. Like you can see that in SHARDOS there are some each SHARDOS series we have flyer and we have an announcement. So you can analyze the words used there, how the author of the SHARDOS or the flyer gather or inform the activity to the audience. And then poetic words of Willy Renandia in expressing extensive reading. Also, it's a very good and research. You can see how Pak Willy explains about expressing extensive reading, and then some poetic words become used by many people around Mr. Willy, around him, ya. Like apa ya? Saya kok langsung tiba-tiba lupa. Ada kata-katanya itu yang bagus banget. Habit is, maybe Miss Isti know about that. I couldn't remember anymore about it. And then questions response in Teflin webinar. Like you can see in webinar, in many webinar or every webinar, there is a Q&A session. How the speakers actually answers the questions of the the audience, yeah, and then we can see the response, and then so how to analyze it? We can use speech X analysis, and also we can use again another one, misalnya we talk about discourse analysis. It depends on what approach do you want to see. So this is a terms or figurative speech from Noam Chomsky. Yeah, language is the process of free creation. Its laws and principles are fixed, but the manner in which the principles of generations are used is free and infinitely varied. Even the interpretation and use of words involves a process of free creation, means that there is no limitations of interpreting something. Yeah, though we have actually the scope to manage our analysis, but the way you interpret it, there is no limitation on that. Thanks. Any questions? You can find me at fitrauliansar@radenintan.ac.id. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Oh, again, thank you very much. Kalau ada yang salah, ya itu murni dari saya. Saya juga masih belajar. Ya, thank you very much for your chance. Ya, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Ms. Aulia. Continue to second speaker, Mr. Satria Ardi Pradana. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you very
15
much.
minutes, ya, Mister. You only have
50?
15 minutes. Yeah,
15 or 50?
15.
Okay. Wait a minute. What's this one? Sabar nak. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay. Today in SHARDOS. What is it? Waalaikumsalam. Oh, buffer ya? Halo?
Dikit,
Misalnya buffer ya? Enggak.
dikit.
Yeah, delay ya. Has already talked much about linguistics in a general way, and also some pragmatics happens in Deixis. Yeah, so she portrayed a lot of linguistics research. Okay, and then I'm going to give the exact specific linguistic which we called in the previous webinar SHARDOS 8 in the literature section, transdisciplinary research, which I conduct in some of my articles. Okay, so linguistics has been explained by Miss Aulia. It is actually the study of language, protrude many speech, contexts, and so on and so forth, which we could not protrude that it is the meaning, the real meaning of it, which is we need to know the embedded message of the studs. So the question is, what is linguistics? It's been already explained, which is a comparatively new science, and new at least in these recent years, which is its goal is to describe a varied varieties of language and explain the unconscious knowledge of all speakers. So it involves the analysis of language form, language meaning, and language in context. Okay, so this has already been explained by Ms. Olia, yeah, which we can see the things out. For example, like pragmatics, it seems to be the meaning and context of discourse. So this is the study of how context affects the meaning, which you can see the maxim of conversations, and also semantics, which is the meaning of phrases and sentences, and also syntaxis, about how you uh, break down the phrases and sentences into some part of what is it um, categories, and also the morphology about the words, okay, how the words evolved and also altered, and phonology, the phonemes, and phonetics, the speech sounds. So the one who study the linguistics, or who are looking for it, is what we call linguist. It's been explained also by Ms. Olia. Okay, there is so much that linguists can do. Okay, on how the language is being used. As long as the language is there, so there will be the one who are going to analyze it. Yeah, for examples like accents. Okay, the etymology of each word, which one is what is it proper to use, like available, and also the accents and also the utterance, which uh, maybe for somebody it's not really common. Yeah, for what is yellow means. You are yellow, for example, can play the bills and something which is so random in any random language. Like, yeah, we could make it as a joke also, as a humor. Okay, okay. So many things to be done. So uh, linguistics is quite complicated. So I'm going to propose this one because this is actually what we are going to do, the applied linguistics, which is, yeah, we as a people, yeah, we as a people are intact with education all of our lives. I mean, when we was born, still the linguistics happened. I mean, the process of acquiring the language. Okay. Also, we utilize, okay, the ability, yeah, to communicate by making some practical tasks. Maybe if there is a baby talks, you can also do a research on baby talks. Maybe some ta 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 pa 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 like that. I don't know. So you can find a pattern for those linguistic activities. Okay. So what is the similarity between applied linguistic and educational linguistic? So we're talking about educational linguistic. So educational linguistic is actually one below the applied linguistics. Applied linguistics is actually the umbrella of it. So which is concerned with the relation with the real life problems. So and also the practical problems happen in the classroom. I mean, we are teaching language. We are teaching a foreign language. So it is automatically we're gonna use the language, okay, in terms of knowing what we are teaching. Okay, so we're going to narrow the educational linguistic because it will interact with the real practical problems in the classroom. So we are going to see what is actually the problem happen, and also things beside uh, teaching and learning matters. So we're going to see the applied linguistic. Okay. This is actually some transcendence. I mean, transdisciplinary work on linguistics. If we're going to alter it into what is it? An applied linguistic. I mean, we're going to do this. Okay. The first one is the basic descriptive and analytical work. So we're going to see and describe what happened in the class. Okay. And also like the examples of Miss Aulia. Yeah. Which nowadays is so what is it, popular among us, that it is chord switching and chord mixing, and also the using of uh, Deixis, for example, okay, and how the speech act of the teacher, okay, and students respond, okay. Another one is the sociolinguistic studies, okay, about the sociolinguistic, yeah, about we are happen to be in different tribes, and also different accent, different knowledge, different perceptions on how we learn English. Maybe, for example, like those in Sundanese, yeah, could not pronounce F, for examples. It will be P, and Saiful, like that, and so on and so forth. And some other what is it, tribes also use a uh, different strategy in learning English. Okay. And also how the language position policy decision making, meaning that how this policy uh, will also give the impact on the uh, the learning, teaching and learning situation at classroom, and also how the curriculums happen to be with its verse, and we just can break down each of the meaning and what should be done, or it will be a multi meaning, multi, what is it, multi transfers, so on and so forth. And also the acquisition and learning, language acquisition and learning. It is actually what we're doing in our classroom, okay, and how the study of the language will uh, give the washback over the classroom. I mean, after the teaching, and how it impacts the students in learning the language. Okay, and then this is the categories of it: structure of language curricula, which we call the formal, functional, situational. Okay, and also language use in the classroom, the context of language teaching, and various specialized fields like Miss Olia already explained, stylistic, literary stylistic, lexicology, and also with particular orientation, of course, based on the blade that we're going to use. Okay, if you're going to use the pure blade of linguistics, so it cannot be matched on. I mean, you have to be on a position to use the linguistics in terms of language study. Okay. Okay, this is the examples of KAL, knowledge about language, which is from the Jurnal Edulingua, Santi Andriani. So there are two main arguments for teaching KAL. So this is why education needs linguistics theory. So the first one is a deeper understanding of language that deserves a place in any liberal curriculum because of its long-term intellectual benefits. So it's important for children to understand their bodies of their social environment it is at least as important for them to understand the faculty, which makes social life possible. Okay, it is based on the effectiveness. So how the language is used to affect the language skills of writing, reading, and speaking, and also listening will be improved by using the knowledge about language. So if you know the language, so you can do the rest of it. I mean, when we read, for example, read a passage, we are going to face two problems. The first one is the language. The second one is the context. So that's why when we are facing IELTS or facing any task which involves both of them, okay, so we must share a bit, so it will be the meaning inside the passage itself. So yeah, it needs both cognitive and also the metacognitive, and also uh, the context, the ability to read the context itself. Okay. Now, yeah, as what I supposed to have. Yeah, I will give the pragmatics things. Yeah. It's about the some of the things has already been explained by Miss Aulia. Yeah, about the politeness. Okay, politeness is about how you employed the politeness by speakers to achieve a variety of goals. For examples like promoting, maintaining, and making a relationship. Okay, making a relationship. So that's why you need to know the maximum of it. So we have S for making analysis, okay, which make the contributions of informative by the purpose of exchange, and also it doesn't make any contribution more informative than it is required. So you need to talk based on the quantity, many, not less, and so on and so forth, and also maximum quality. So the rules of maximum quality, the first one is do not say what you believe to be false. Okay, and also don't for which you lack adequate evidence. So it will look like you're, yeah, the smart person, but actually, yeah, it's based of you know the maximum quality that it will hinder the meaning of these rules. And also you can deliver a message that could be truthful and also could not lack of suitable evidence. That's how you win an argument. Okay, maximum of relation is the rule of being relevant. The relevant. So we're talking about relevant things, which actually intact with our research. Yeah, relevant studies, relevant theories, and so on and so forth. So you have to speak in connection between the speakers that address related each other. Okay, and the last is maximum manner. Okay, manner, the manner. The first one is the avoid obscurity of expressions. Also avoid ambiguity, be brief, and be orderly. So the manner will be good when you're trying to make a communication. Okay, this is some examples of an article that I've downloaded from the Pragmatics journal in Salatiga. This is actually the analysis of the maxim of cooperative principles, violations. Violations mean this man is actually disregard the maxim. So how Dodit Mulyanto in stand-up comedy season 4, he tried to make a what is it, a violations on such maxim, and also it will trigger, yeah, the humor, yeah, the comedy. I mean, humor in stand-up comedies as it is. So it is based on those maxims that has already been explained, and the data source of course the utterances, yeah, like Miss Alia. This is actually the pure pragmatics, which I assess from the Pragmatics journal. Uh, those the link if you want to read for the further infos about how maxim of cooperative principle violation what is it by Dodit it's being done. Okay, the next is actually the analysis of declaration of illocutionary acts, and also this is from the Korean English drama, because the subtitle is English, the subtitle is English. So we're going to break down the I hear your voice. Is, if I'm not mistaken, is Lee Jong Suk, yeah, the actor. So the objective of the study is to find and classify the utterances in the English subtitle. So focus on the English subtitle that belongs to the Declaration of Illocutionary Act. It is actually the classifications of Speech Act, an action which is used to make a request informing, commanding an act, which is a locution, and a reference. That's sometimes we call it as a speaker's utterance. So locutionary is the speaker's utterance, and also the second one is the illocutionary act. It's actually the statement offering promise and other utterance of promotive expressions directly, and sometimes calls the intention of the speakers. So illocutionary we call it the intention, speaker's intention. Illocutionary act is the utterance of the speaker. And the third is perlocutionary act, which affects that is produced by the hearer, because utterances and reactions that we call the hearer's reactions. That's perlocutions. So in this pragmatic things, it could be done by seeing those things, yeah, by the speaker. You can change it into teacher, maybe, yeah, teacher speech act. Okay, we have already code switching and code mixing there. Okay, if you want to see more about the articles, you can see the link below. And the last is what we call discourse analysis, okay, of the Under the Same Sun, the lyric of the Scorpion. If you love the Scorpion song, it's not poisoned, yeah. Scorpion is the band. So discourse analysis in social practices that we can what is it? Emphasis such textual form, okay, structure and organizations at all levels, okay, like phonological, grammatical, vocabulary, and social levels seen in language use. It is explained by Frederick Law in 1998 that emphasizes how discourse analysis seeks to explain the use of language in expressing social reality, okay, and how the musical discourse is being done in this research. Okay, so it is a complex, multi-perspective and multi-dimensional phenomenon, an exploration of the professional genres within musical discourse. It's a matter of integrating textual and contextual analysis, as the work of genre is to mediate between social situation and the text that respond to the exigencies of those situations. So this is also the research done by the Wen Listianingrum Arifin in the same journal. Okay, and that's what we called research library research. Okay, library research aims to find the discourse analysis and also focus on the grammatical aspects, lexical aspects, situational aspects, and contextual aspects of the song. And this applies as a descriptive qualitative approach. Okay, so you will find out new things because of our recent situation, the pandemic. Okay, the COVID-19, which severely do harm than good. Okay, you can have this kind of library research as the options for you to do the research. I think that's all about my. Thank you very much, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'll give it back to Miss Emma.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Satria. Okay, in the chat box, there are some questions related to the linguistic, but the question already answered by Miss Aulia. You think that? Do you think that I will repeat the question and you want to answer the question directly by opening your video, or is it enough?
Because
Sure.
we're recording on YouTube, so it needs to be stated.
Okay. The first question.
Aisyah?
Ada Maman. Okay. The first questions. Okay. From Miss Nunun. Indrasari to everyone. How about ethnography? Does it belong to anthropology or are they different things? Because I have ever seen journal talking about ethnography in language classroom, but I don't know exactly how it is. But this question already answered by Miss Aulia. And then the answer. Yeah, the answer from Miss Nunun Kefil, if I'm not mistaken. And the statement from our student, Putri Dwi Puspita. So we cannot finish our research if the about the man. Okay, unit up.
Please the correct one, some of them.
But when I
Okay.
heard you from speaker, you don't really need so much money in conducting research, yeah, in linguistic, because you only need to download, yeah, Miss Aulia, yeah. If I'm
I
So-
prefer them to do library research. So you just, because we are in a pandemic situation, so it's very hard for us to get data do field research. So it will be better if you if you do library research. So you just download the data and then you describe it, but using the theory, of course.
Okay, so it means that they only need quota, ya, quota aja modalnya, ya.
And also you can go to PBI, activating your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Wi-Fi. Okay. The answer, yeah, from Miss Melinda. That's why you have to make two proposals here. The first is research proposal and budget proposal. Ya, the answer for Putri ya. Oke, intinya baca kata Miss Melinda ya. Ya di mana-mana sih baca. Oke. The question from Mr. Said Wijaya. Pitra, please coach me. I'm truly interested in neurolinguistics and so am I in reading. I intend to observe those two things, but I have no idea where to start. Would you mind suggesting me what intersections of those two could possibly be observed? Gracias. Okay, the end related to the hit or activity in presenting the language. Okay. The answer from Mr. Said question already answered by Miss Aulia also. Mr. Said, talking about neurolinguistics means we need to learn more about the linguistics and medical studies. So if on is to items. So I need to read more about linguistics.
Interrupting your statement. I do concur that every linguist can do research in every branches. However, we need to concern if you want to talk about like neurolinguistics. We talk about the relation between language use and also our brain works. So you have to understand both items. Like if you want to talk about neurolinguistics in relation with reading, so how the dyslexia person do extensive reading, like what we have in extensive reading for series 13, we also can explore about that. But again, we need a theory for the neuro analysis, not only the linguistic analysis. If you just focus on linguistic analysis, we can maybe we can elaborate it or explore it by using pragmatics. But how in medical aspects? Because we are under neurolinguistics branch, so we have to understand both items with a same portion.
Okay, I will read again.
Okay, may I? Boleh, boleh.
Ya, Mr.
Ya,
Said.
Mister.
Ya, boleh.
Thank you, Miss Aulia, for the answer. It's quite enlightening ya, lumayan mencerahkan sekali. What I mean-nya begini, misalnya nih, saya kan tertarik di reading. Oh, I'm sorry ya, pakai bahasa Indonesia. My English is not delicious soalnya.
Come with me.
Pragmatic tuh. My body is not delicious.
Data nih.
Jadi gini, kan karena tertarik dengan reading, kan saya juga tertarik dengan neurolinguistik. Kalau neuro itu kan bagaimana bahasa itu diproses oleh kepala kan, oleh otaknya. Nah, misalnya nih, saya ingin melihat bagaimana sih ketika kita membaca atau mulai memahami satu kata, kira-kira bagian mana saja dari otak itu yang memproses informasi yang kita lihat itu. Apakah di bagian brokanya ataukah di bagian wernicnya gitu. Kayak gitu bisakah? Kalau misalnya saya yang non-linguistik nih, kira-kira nih, apakah saya bisa menganalisis area begitu? Thank you.
There is no impossible in this world.
The whole new world, yeah.
But again, we have to comprehend about those issues because if we want to talk about human brains, we have to have a basic comprehensions related to brain works, like a part of brain and then how brain producing language and then so
short-term memory.
Yes.
Long-term memory.
Yes.
left hemisphere,
I
right
cannot say
hemisphere,
that
yeah.
I'm expert about that, but this is my own my own perceptions regarding to this concept. But I don't know exactly about neuro linguistics. I'm sorry to say
Please
that.
coach me. Please coach me. Please coach me.
You know my way up, right?
You are actually the coach. So I will add some more about how our body works, especially this neuro linguistics, because it is what is it literally based on neuro. Okay, so we're talking about how human brains works. Okay, which we're going to divide it into the left hemisphere and also the right hemisphere of our brain, which we can know how to make it work by doing some gestures, and also do some practice about how we train our brains. Okay, for example, like the right side of our body is actually works for our left hemisphere brains. So like mathematics, language, reading, and also writing, logic, systematics, analysis. That's for the left hemisphere. I mean the left brain, which is short memory. It is short memory terms, and also in the other side of the brain, the right hemisphere is about the creativity, conceptual, and music, something like that. Like we can see from those experts has already been was explained about the how human brains works. Okay, maybe like that, Mr. Said. Maybe some because we're not a practitioner on how NLP, especially neuro linguistic programs. So I think we need to read more. I mean, we, the speakers, need to read more about that. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Satria, thank you. There is a question from Mr. Agus Hidayat. He asked the speaker, saya mahasiswa semester 34,5. Ya, kalau dihitung dari tahun 2006 ya. Gus
Tiga
ya.
empat setengah.
Kalau tahun 2006 ya Gus, 34,5 semester. Kalau saya
Iya juga.
analisis grammar, apakah itu artinya saya sudah meneliti linguistik or morphology? Kalau bukan, yang membedakannya apa antara penelitian linguistik atau morfologi dengan grammar? Sebenarnya sudah dijawab ya sepertinya ya dengan Miss Aulia.
As far as
Grammar
I
is
know,
also part of
every research
linguistics, yeah.
regarding to language can be concluded as a linguistics research. And then if we talk about grammar, actually it is related to syntax. Yeah, how the structures of the words, and then how the words arrange could be said as a syntax analysis. But other than that, actually, if we do a research of language, means that we do a linguistics research. So grammar also is a part of linguistics. But in which approach do you concern? Like if you want to concern with the meaning, so the semantics, context, pragmatics, grammar actually it's close with
syntax
and
also morphology. Yeah.
Yes, but it depends again which one do you want to focus on. Actually, I have private questions. Maybe none of you can see. Let me read.
Why you ask a question? We're supposed to be asked. Okay, so actually that's what is it? The answer from Miss Melinda. So the grammar is actually the term which for a specific language. But if it's you say about linguistics, it's about more broader, I mean, as a language as a whole. So we could also define the grammar is under the linguistic itself, Mr. Agus. I mean like that. Is there any question from the other students?
Yeah, private question actually here.
I
and
have a question?
then I will answer it in here. So I will not answer privately again. Okay. Can I concern on a material consider teaching about beach be addressed on anthropological linguistics? Since the different culture of theirs, English, example, a flying boomerang is forced to be speaking habit of whose enclek is their game. Okay, again, I personally actually agree that if you want to talk about anthropological linguistics, however, if we talk about this, means that it is related to the culture. Yeah, you have to consider about the cultures that you want to concern on. Like if you want to talk about the cultures or the cultural norms related to ethnicity, means that maybe you will lost the English content. However, we focus on English department, so the data that you have to analyze later, it would be better if English data. So if you want to talk about like what my research just now talking about mantra in other region language, it is not actually under English department. This is linguistic, but this is not under English department. So you have to consider about the language used. It's okay if you want to do anthropological linguistics if English words.
Pure
But
linguistic.
to consider about the cultures of the language. Like if you want to analyze about the slang words, or do you want to analyze about the proverbs in English, you have to know exactly about the cultures of the language used there, and also the ethnicity of the words. Like if you want to talk about the
Mantra Harry
taboo
Potter.
words, yeah.
Mantra
Harry Potter.
Yeah, could be. But again, kalau mantra Harry Potter, do you exactly know about that? Gitu. Do you exactly know about the language use itself? Gitu. It's okay as long as you can understand about that. Gitu. Like you want to talk about the language norms in English, yeah. But if you talk about language norms in Lampungnis, it is not in our concentration. So you have to consider about the data.
Okay, from the student, do you have a question? Okay, if no, Miss Aulia, I want to ask you something. Mr. Satria also. Mr. Satria explained before about language acquisition, meaning that the student can do research related to the language acquisition. But how many years they will do a research if they take language acquisition, Mr.? And for Miss Aulia,
Okay.
yeah, two questions, Mr. You explained before about discourse
Hmm.
analysis. Do you think that is it possible for our student to conduct a research related to discourse analysis because they don't have a subject about discourse analysis?
Sangat bisa, sangat bisa.
Okay, Mr.
Sangat
Satria,
bisa.
can you answer my
Expelliarmus.
Ada yang notice ya.
Okay, so about the language acquisition. Nggak ada yang notice ya Allah. Ada Kamal tuh ya? Kamal. So based on the question, so I try to to answer based on my my experience. So when we're talking about,
the questions that
kenapa Miss Aulia?
me privately is from Mr. Ahmad Kamal.
Kamal.
Oh yeah. Who's that?
You send it to me privately,
Okay.
so I don't mention your name. Sorry.
Don't be so private. We're getting curious ya. Confucido. Harry Potter spell.
Oke, lanjut. Go on.
Okay. So which one is the Ahmad Kamal? Maybe he wants to.
Udah, ini untuk jawab.
Oh, okay. So, about the language acquisition, it's actually based on the design of our research. So we have to notice ourselves, and also knowing how the milestone that we're going to do, and until how long. Okay, because the qualitative research will take a lot of your time if you don't do it properly. If you think it is enough, so then you are going to report it back, and that's all that you can do. It's not going to take years to do that. Okay, maybe for some qualified or quality researcher are going to do such research in a very kok Kamal nggak ditutup? Yeah, in a very long time. So it will also conclude the result. Okay, the result of the research. So how far the data will satisfy the the readers, and also the practitioner that read the research. Okay, maybe it will be in case of a book, because of years of observing the phenomenon. So I think it is based on the researcher, Miss Emma. So to when you get enough with the data, so just stop. Okay, especially for those undergraduate students. Don't take too much price for giving you back your master degree or your doctoral degree. Just take your proportion. Proportion. Okay, do the undergraduate job if you want it. If you wanna get through it, so you're going to overpass the border. Okay, so just do decently. Yeah, decently do. Yeah, what undergraduate should do. Okay. Thank you. I'll give it back to Miss Emma.
Okay. How about the other student? Do you have a question related to the research about linguistic? Because Miss Aulia and Mr. Satria have provided so many topics, interesting topics ya. You can take one from the topics ya. Sebenarnya banyak sekali ya yang topik dari Miss Aulia, dan juga ada beberapa topik secara implisit sebenarnya dari Mr. Satria, tapi itu bisa diteliti sebenarnya ya Mr. Satria ya. Oke. No question? Okay. Miss Aulia, you can answer my question.
Questions.
Yeah.
How many years?
Udah lupa deh.
Okay.
No, not many years, but I think that our student can conduct a research about discourse analysis, because in our curriculum there is no discourse analysis as our subject. And what is your answer? Because Miss Melinda said before that we can conduct discourse analysis research, even though we don't have that subject in our curriculum.
Actually, talking about possibility, everyone can do it. But maybe you lack of knowledge about discourse analysis, so you need to learn it from the basic ones about discourse analysis. Actually, discourse analysis is related to pragmatics, even though discourse analysis has their own specific terms to analyze it. But I think if you really interested in in exploring discourse analysis, you will find a way. Like you don't have to give deep analysis about that, but at least you just learn about the basic one, and then you can do analysis about that. It's okay. I think there is no limitations on that. You can do it as long as you want to learn about that. I think some of you actually also conduct research without knowing about those topics. So it's okay if you want to find another one and then explore it.
Yeah.
Just do readings as much as you can.
Yeah. Indeed, Miss Aulia. So I do really agree about that. So it's basically based on how you are going to portray the discourse analysis. For example, if you're going to relate it into ELT, English language teaching, it could be done by having a good role model of teacher. So when she or he does the teaching activities, so we can record it and also we can analyze it and how to make a better a better teachings, and also how it will improve the theory of teaching itself. So you can do the discourse for encouraging the students. For example, like if you're going to be so what is it? I mean, you're upset with your students, and how could the discourse will be, and if you're going to give them such a compliment and so on and so forth, and such washback will happen if you're going to do and conduct the discourse analysis related to the teaching process of the teacher, the best role model. I think like that, Miss Emma.
Okay. From your statement, it can be concluded that even though they don't learn about linguistic, but they want to do a research in linguistic, they have to read, some journals, related to linguistic one. Okay. Do
And,
you?
and also, actually, linguistics is a tool. So it depends on you. You can change the subjects. Like your friends talk about that we have already got just now. That some of you talk about code switching and code mixing in teaching learning process. But some of you talking about code mixing and code switching in YouTube creator. And then other ones talk about, so you just change the subjects. Maybe you expert of one subject, okay, you just go deep in that, but you can change the subjects to find the variety of the language used. You can also analyze like a novel to do a literature research. So linguistics is a tool, but again, I doubt that if you do some I doubt that maybe some of our lecturers cannot accept if it's under like pure linguistics and literature. So you have to you have to consider about that, and you have to relate it with education. Maybe this is only my own suggestion.
Yeah, so because of our situation right now, in the pandemic, so linguistic could be the other variation of research to be done. For example, it's like library research, and also the analysis of utterances, and how the best practices of teachers in online teachers, for example, like Ruang Guru, and then I'm not promoted, but the examples like Ruang Guru and so on and so forth, like that. So you can analyze the language use, especially for the English teacher. Okay, the best practices that they've done. So you can do it by such kind of students, in those online courses. Those teachers are really being prepared for talking to the various students, various characteristic of students. Okay, so their language will be so much prepared. So it needs to be analyzed, and how could it be covers all the general people who watch the lessons online. I think that's quite gonna be a good research title for you. So there are so many online courses right now. So like the webinar, Miss Aulia has already provided with those titles. Okay, and I think you could do it more. Okay, based on that. Thank you, Miss Emma.
Actually, I don't really interested in doing a research about linguistic, but after I I have heard from your explanation about linguistic, it is quite interesting to do a research about linguistic. Previously, I
Yeah.
don't, yeah, I always say to my student,
Hmm.
I don't really master. I'm not the expert of blah 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 blah. But after I heard your explanation, both from Miss Aulia and Mr. Satria, it is interesting to conduct a research or to learn more about linguistics. I think the student who follow our program here or SHARDOS here will be interested in conducting a research about the linguistic one.
Yes, Miss Emma.
Makanya tak kenal maka tak sayang.
Especially when you find a perfect model of the teacher, ya. For example, maybe we can analyze Miss Melinda when she teach,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth.
Again, I just want to intend that in doing linguistics research, we have to consider the ethical issues. So maybe it's okay if we do the research, but is there any impact after doing that research, like your relations between yourself with your teacher,
Object of the
your
research.
lecturer? So you have to consider about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it enough or we
Miss
wait?
Romadila,
Ya.
saya ambil alih dulu sebentar ya.
Oke.
Ini Miss May, Miss Yulan, dan Mr. Said sudah siapkah? Ada pengumuman dari jurusan.
Oh, I think photo session.
Siap nih bilang, ya. Lagi
Foto session.
Ya, saya serahkan dulu
Miss Yulan masuk nggak?
ke Miss
Oh, ada ya?
Maisuri, ke Miss Yulan, dan Mr. Said selaku panitia. Silahkan.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Wabarakatuh.
Iya, ini mau mengumumkan.
Lah itu Mr. Rido ya?
Iya dong. Masa Mr. Said. Jadi mau
Itu namanya
kita
Said
waktunya
Wijaya.
sedikit ya untuk mengumumkan short story competition di jurusan BBI.
Bisa nggak berunda?
Yang dilaksanakan pada April 23 sampai Juli 17 2020. Nah, untuk mahasiswa PBI semester 1 sampai semester 8. Oke, dari semester 1 sampai itu ada 11 peserta yang mengikuti lomba, dan sekarang sudah ada 3 pemenang dari 11 ya, pendaftar. Nah, as the first runner-up of short story competition, ya, juara
Ding 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 ding. Loh, ngehang?
Kanji.
Miss Mel nyanyi lagu tuh.
Kanji.
Apa itu?
Ya, kemudian the first runner-up of short story competition Al-Madani Rodotul Laili.
Woo!
Kemudian as the second runner-up of short story competition Al-Hakim Bani Ismail.
Wih.
Ya, nama-nama tadi adalah pemenang dari kompetisi cerpen ya yang di mungkin setelah itu ada sedikit pesan dari ketua jurusan langsung penyerahan. Oke deh, ini
Meetingnya berapa? Bentar ya.
Udah ini ya. Tunggu ya.
Teknis.
Congrats.
Ya, HP bagusnya masih di itu. Nah, tuh.
Oh, hadiahnya iPad ya, Mr. Said.
iPad 15 juta cash.
ACC, isi, aku masuk.
Mbak Isi ACC.
Sudah loh.
Itu maskernya Akbar itu bolong tengahnya ya?
Ada. Masuk belum?
betul.
Iya.
Bye-bye Miss Melinda.
Ini adalah proses penyerahan hadiah untuk juara satu, the winner of short story competition, yaitu ada ada bintang, ada merchandise. Untuk yang winnernya hadiahnya uang tunai sebesar Rp500.000 dibayar tunai. Untuk merchandise seperti novel, ada tumbler, ada kotak kecil, ada endosnya. Al-Hakim Bani Ismail. Oke, silakan ditutup terlebih dahulu. Oke. Ya, terima kasih. Oke, ini adalah merchandise-nya. Untuk second runner-up mendapatkan hadiah sebesar Rp200.000 beserta dengan merchandise.
Plak, 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 plak.
Oke, terima kasih. Jadi itulah acara jurusan PBI Story Competition lomba menulis cerpen yang diadakan dari bulan April sampai bulan Agustus dengan peserta jumlah 11 orang. Semoga nextnya ada kompetisi lainnya yang bisa diikuti sama mahasiswa PBI yang punya pengembangan mereka.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you semuanya.
Kamu depan.
Udah tempat ini udah. Ya Pak Said aja.
Udah ya, balikin lagi ke jurusan.
Udah.
Foto bareng-bareng. Loki, minta tolong.
Ini kamu tuin.
Mahasiswa Jembanur nggak ikut, nggak apa-apa ya?
Loh, pasti. Saya mau tak hilangin. Biar Rido aja yang hilangin. Dok, ini dok, hilangin dok. Putih semua tuh. Pokoknya tutup.
Terang.
Oke. Ini pemenang tengah-tengah.
Ini videonya yang mana ini? Di Miss Nur atau Mr. Said ya? Kok mati semua ini? Dan kali. Miss Nur. Videonya di siapa? Ada yang denger dah? Kita nonton apa ini? Kita nonton apa?
Emang nggak di depan? Kan kamu depan-depan kan, Ti? Emang Nur?
Enggak.
Depan-depan kan?
Miss Nur di jurusan.
Enggak ya?
Enggak. Mereka kan lagi foto-foto. Mereka lagi foto-foto, tapi nggak ada yang nyorot lah. Kayak mana? Kita disuruh nonton apa? Apakah terlihat? Tidak.
Kita ditinggal gini. Sedih amat sih. Ditinggal pas lagi sayang-sayangnya.
Nggak lupa.
Udah ditutup, kasih ke host.
Oke.
Tuh.
Mau ditutup.
Thank you. Diserahkan kembali ke Isti.
Iya, sama-sama Mr. Said. Walaupun saya bingung, kalian ada upacara seremoni tapi nggak ada yang nge-shoot. Kami nonton apa? Kami nggak ngeliat loh. Apa mau diulang siarannya?
Oh ya? Jangan, enggak apa-apa. Thank you.
Oke.
Ya, congratulations ya for all the winners. Oke, adik-adik, besok insya Allah pukul 10 sampai pukul 12 hari Selasa tanggal 29 September 2020 adalah SHARDOS ke-10. Itu adalah SHARDOS penutup. Di akhir ini saya harap juga diberitahukan kepada teman-temannya yang masih galau tentang judul, masih stuck tentang penelitian yang ke sekolah. Ini kami memberikan alternatif terakhir, yaitu tentang ISP dan TYL, yang akan digawangi oleh Miss Nunun Indrasari, Miss Fahrunisa, dan Miss Dian Restiawati. Mereka akan memberikan kalian solusi-solusi ataupun sebuah alternatif gitu kan, penelitian yang berkaitan dengan ISP dan TYL. Gitu. For your information, ESP is English for specific purposes, while TYL is teaching English for young learners. Jadi ini salah satu atau salah dua alternatif ya. Terutama buat yang semester 5. Semester 5 ini bisa jadi suatu masukan buat kalian gitu kan. Apakah kalian akan melaksanakan penelitian atau membuat skripsi yang gitu-gitu aja ataupun yang sama wasiat dari dan warisan dari kakak tingkat, atau melakukan suatu hal yang baru. Sebenarnya ini bukan suatu hal yang baru, tapi jarang dilakukan untuk anak PBI UIN Raden Intan Lampung seperti itu. Jadi saran saya besok tetap ikut di acara SHARDOS yang ke-10
Ngebuff
jam 10 juga. Tuh, Rido. Besok akan dimoderatori oleh Mr. Rido. Siap ini, udah berangkat ke jurusan.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin.
Ya. Ya Allah, makasih.
Ganti laptop, Miss Sisti.
Lemonnya belum cair.
Oh,
Makasih ya.
aduh, udah
Sampai
penuh
jumpa
itu
lagi besok.
memorinya.
Ya, insya Allah. Buat teman-teman dosen juga terakhir ya.
Thank you everyone. Miss Dewi, makasih. Ramaikan besok.
Semuanya. Thank you.
Ya, thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Coach me.
Saya dapat door prize. Saya lu gak dikasih.
Mana?
Apa ini ya hadiahnya? Oh, tote bag. Yeay.
Kok dapet?
Udah sia-sia jadi mimin Zoom. 17 seri loh.
Oh, dapat goodie bag.
Goodie bag.
Goodie bag.
Kalau goodie
Eh,
apa goodie bag itu?
Expelliarmus kan nih?
Kan saya pakai untuk membawa laptop saya yang keren ini.
Finit incantatem.
Kayaknya ada Intan.
Gadis yang